What is going on, guys? I hope everyone is doing well in this little bit of a bloodbath that we're having. But there's one part of this situation that we're in, this little perfect storm that we're in, that is attributed to that's the fear surrounding the virus that is going, the pandemic. But us miners and people who have relatively strong, GPUs and CPUs can actually contribute to help in the research of possible cure, right? So, or at least some therapeutics for, stopping the virus from spreading. So that's what we're going to talk about tonight. It's been around a long time, this particular program. It's really neat to finally get into it and actually, hopefully have an impact on a cure. So, or at least a vaccine. So let's get into it. All right, so what we are going to be talking about here is actually folding at home. I think Red Panda did a video on it yesterday or the day before. I think it was the day before, maybe. No, it was Sunday, I believe. Yesterday, I think I've got that day right. And he covered it really well, what was going on and how to install it. I'd already planned on doing a video, so he kind of like jumped the gun on that. He got it out there before I could get one, but I was going to do this video. I was kind of planning on it over the weekend, so I figured I would just go ahead and do it anyway, even though he did one as well. But that's fine. Anyway, so what exactly is folding at home? You might have heard people talking about it. If you follow any of us on Twitter, we've talked about it a little bit here or there. So I just wanted to, cover it a little bit more in depth, show you how to install it. But in short, what is folding at home actually good for? It's basically disease research. And what it has to do with is the way that proteins line up whenever they are doing stuff in our body, right? Whenever they are performing the critical functions in our bodies, and that's called folding. Whenever the proteins do what they do to support the functions of our body. When they don't fold correctly, it can lead to diseases or cell pollution with proteins clumping together in unwanted ways, or having some kind of waste created from their improper clumping. And these clumps can actually damage the body by killing other cells. There's no equipment available to really see this happening in real time, so it has to be simulated. But they give a really good example or an analogy where, I think it's on this website here, that they give the analogy of a football team. So if you have a football team and they're on the line and they haven't snapped the ball yet, then you can think of that as the protein folding and lining up. But what they need to see is what happens after that, right? So the simulations that folding at home supports or has the support of the distributed computing power of everybody that's contributing, then they're basically running simulations to find out how things unfold, right? Or that's kind of the wrong word, but you understand what I'm saying. It's a simulated to see how the proteins actually line up once. And in the football analogy, that's kind of like once it's like the lining up after the snapping of the ball. The rest of the game is what they're trying to determine what happens the rest of the game. So it's kind of neat, very cool project, and they've done a lot of research and helped with a lot of other diseases. This is not just for coronavirus, this is for other things as well. But understanding how or why these proteins fold incorrectly can help discover cures for diseases, all kinds of different diseases. But what are they doing specifically for coronavirus? Here's the example down here, or the analogy. They basically said what I just said. You see seeing a single cell structure of a protein on the left is like seeing players lined up for the snap in football. It's important information, but a lot is missing. The protein structure shows a sphere for each atom and red, blue and red arrows highlighting the one drug binding in this protein. So they're showing you that if they can determine how to stop this from happening by inputting or filling this gap here with another type of chemical or atom or whatever, the actual vaccine, then they can actually stop it from occurring. So that's what they are trying to do, and it's a huge amount of computing power, right? So they're basically, what FAH is, or folding at home, is a humongous distributed computing cluster. In short, that's what they are. And the cluster helps to run all these calculations as a giant supercomputer and sends the data back to the scientists for them to use in their use for their research. They're basically looking for areas in the protein that could be drugged to stop the spread, or to stop it from doing the bad things, the bad folding part. They've added projects simulating potentially druggable protein targets from SARS-CoV-2, which is the virus that causes COVID-19. So if you hear someone call what we are seeing right now SARS, it is actually correct. It's the virus SARS is the virus that causes COVID-19. And it's also, they also have projects from Folding at Home that deal with SARS-CoV virus since it has more structural data and longer history. So they have several different projects for it that they can send to people supporting the project with their computing or GPU power. So it's really cool. It's kind of like, it's been around longer than cryptocurrency. So it's really, I think it started in 2002. I think I can't remember the exact date, but it's been around a while. And they have a lot of different OSs supported. So it'll default. I think this screen right here will actually default to whatever you're actually on. I'm on Windows, so it's defaulting to Windows. But if you wanted to grab it for a different one, you could just click alternative downloads, and they have Red Hat, Debian, lots of different versions, Mac and Windows. So we'll choose I had installed it on this PC, but I figured for the stream I would go ahead and do it again. You can see I've already downloaded it. So let's head over there and actually install it here. Probably lose you for a second there. I always do custom install just to see what exactly it's doing whenever it installs. Default folder here. So it's going to put some data in the app data folder. I'm going to have it start manually. You can do this however you want. You could have it automatically start at logon time, start as a service. I like to actually start it manually. And then you can check the box or leave it checked for start folding at home. Then finish. And I don't know if mine, I don't think it actually starts on its own. I think I had to go through this before. It does have the desktop shortcut. My computer kind of acts a little bit weird sometimes. If you just double click on the shortcut, it comes up with this. It's basically a web page. Now, what I've noticed on my computer, this is Brave, and Brave and Chrome apparently do not work very well with this particular interface. This is client.foldingathome.org. So it seems like it's just not wanting to work very well. It keeps refreshing. I've tried to mess around with some of the settings, and I couldn't figure out how to get it to stop doing this and actually register the correct data. But it's pretty easy. If you just go to Internet Explorer, I don't know if you can start this that way. let's see here. No. So you'd have to, I think what I did before was just go to Internet Explorer and go to Client, because once it's installed, it's actually kind of running as a service in your taskbar. Down in the bottom, you hit the little up arrow and you can see the folding, it'll say folding active on it. Let me get this up and running over here on IE. Alright, so here's IE, and you can see that it did go ahead and save, because I told it not to delete the data whenever I uninstalled it for the stream, because it does download. I think it downloads quite a bit of data, so I didn't really want to mess with that, so I left it alone. So you can see it's already got me and a team and everything, but I think if it starts without that information, it will come up and ask, whether or not you want to join a team or if you want to be anonymous or whatever. There's no real benefit as far as joining a specific team or anything like that. I joined, other than like a little bit of recognition maybe on like a list of top performers for the work units and stuff like that they submit. But in the end, what you're trying to do is help find a vaccine for a disease, right? So this part is just, it doesn't really matter that much to me, to be honest. As long as you're donating your computing power, I think you're good to go. But if you wanted to change your identity, you could. You can see here I joined 236961, which is the crypto miners and gamers, I think, group or team. And they say here that you need a passkey also, but I tried this. I never got one. I looked at their website. It seems like they're way behind on generating passkeys. I don't think I needed one. It offers a little bit extra security, but I was able to, I'm submitting work, so I know that it's working. And anyway, I think they're just behind. They're being overwhelmed. There's a lot of people that are donating their computing power, which I think is a great thing. So it's kind of cool to see them overwhelmed, right? And a little bit behind on that. Yeah, you can see right here, crypto miners and video gamers is the name of the team I'm on. Now, Red Panda Mining has his team. His team number is 236994. So if you wanted to join that team, you could come over here and go 236,994, and save. And it switches over to Red Panda Mining's team. I'll leave this on there for a while, I guess. But you can also change how much power you give. Now, if you are using the computer, I probably wouldn't go full, but I'm using a rig over here, and you can see that I have the rig, the 6 GPU rig, Kessel, you might be familiar with if you watch my channel for a while. It's on full, and all the GPUs are going. Some of them don't have work right now, and you'll see this a lot too. And sometimes, it's just idle time, right? And like right now, this particular rig, the whole rig, the 6 GPU rig, let's check the power consumption here real quick. I think it was really low before. I want to say it was 350 or something like that. Okay, so right now it's 438 watts. You're right there on the top left-hand corner. So about 440, 449. It varies a little bit. Yesterday, whenever I was looking at it, it was actually 350, even though it was actually doing stuff. So, it varies. It just depends. But it's going to probably be a lot less than crypto mining. As you can see here, how 3 of, the CPU, but 2 of the GPUs are not even doing anything right now. The other 2 are. And you can kind of see, if you go to the, I'm just in this rig, remotely here. It's running Windows and right now anyway. Usually it's on Hashrate OS, but I figured for this effort I would get it back on Windows for the time being. But if you go down here and this is the little taskbar icon that I was talking about earlier. This is what it looks like. And if you right click on that and choose advanced control, you get to this screen and you can actually kind of see what work you are actually working on. And the ones that apply to, if it's the GPU, the two work units or the two projects that are working directly on the coronavirus are 11.741 and 11.764. At least that's what they posted on their website earlier. They could be adding projects, right? You don't really know. I mean, I'm sure that their website would probably tell you. But anyway, so you can see, you know, this is a pretty good interface, advanced interface, I guess you could say. But you could see that things are running and what's going on. And I did read also that they're probably a little bit behind on work, right? So you can see how it says download here. So, you know, don't worry about this. A lot of this stuff, as long as that little client is running in your taskbar and it's running in the background. Golly, you guys can't see this. Hang on. As long as this is running in your taskbar down here, you should be good to go, right? It's going to get the work and stuff like that. So I don't know how much of that y'all missed because I had the wrong screen up, but yeah, let me minimize that. Yeah, this is what I was saying was I'm just remoting into the rig. 6 GPU rig. I don't know if yeah, I got this too. It's like an error. I did a lot of research just troubleshooting this. I couldn't find out why this is happening, but what I did notice is that it's actually working, right? So I think it's kind of like a false negative because it is doing work and you know, seems to be connected and everything. So you know, it says online up here, so I think that everything's good. It just, for whatever reason, that specific interface just would not work. So I'll leave this one on. This is a BBT, Bits Be Trippin'. He's the one that put out this group here, or this team. I don't know if it's his team, but he was the one that was tweeting about it early on, so that's why I jumped on that team. And this one I'll leave on Red Panda just to distribute the load a little bit. All right, let me check the chat, see what you guys are up to. Hey, what's up, Brandon Coyne? What's up, Jay? Jeff, Boris, thanks for tuning in, man. I appreciate it. Mazuka, Dan the Dane, Nefarious, what's up? Yeah, exactly. Let's lose money together. Yeah, SETI, I think SETI just discontinued their actual effort that was similar to this. Yeah, which is sad, but you know, kind of tough to find a lot of people all the time that will contribute, you know, in an altruistic way, you know, with nothing to gain. And that's kind of the situation that this is, other than, hey, you are contributing to possibly finding a solution, a cure, a vaccine, whatever, you know, disease research for a lot of different things, not just coronavirus. You know, there's, like I said earlier, there's a lot of them. There's, you know, you see over here what they are actually working on. So it's a lot of different stuff. And it's kind of fascinating. It's kind of funny that, you know, us crypto miners, a lot of us probably entered the space, entered crypto mining, and didn't, like myself anyway, I didn't know a whole lot about monetary policy or how the government worked, or how the finances worked, and the whole you know, the economy, and how I didn't know how it all worked. And it's really been interesting, you know, to learn over time how it does work. I do know that I watched, you know, I went through the 2008 financial crisis, and it was horrible. A lot of us did, obviously, but I was in a situation where I'd bought a home and it was terrible. I'd bought at the top, so I immediately saw, you know, the value go down significantly, like in a real short amount of time, and it was really stressful, really stressful. But I know I'm getting off topic here, but basically, you you know, what I'm getting at is I didn't know a lot about monetary policy, how it worked, and because of crypto mining, I know a lot more. Although there's still a ton to learn because I'm still trying to figure out all the little details. But this project here, you know, whenever we're faced with this pandemic, you know, we are sitting here and actually learning a little bit about how proteins fold. So I think that that's kind of cool, you know, and how the body works, and it might actually cause us to learn how to not damage our body, right? By, you know, putting bad food in it and how it reacts to things like that. So I don't know. I think it's kind of cool. Stuff like this makes you kind of learn things that you typically wouldn't learn in a normal, or you wouldn't even be interested in at all. You know, I went through the majority of my life not really caring too much about you know, money as far as like the how it worked. You know, most people just, you know, put their head down, go to work, come home, you know, buy what they can, you know, support their families and all that stuff. And yeah, it's really fascinating to kind of get into it and really learn a lot about it. So yeah, so anyway, that's it. I'm gonna cut it off there. Brandon Coin's probably gonna be live, I think, right, Brandon Coin, you were here a minute ago. Are you going live right after this? I don't have a notification or anything. So let us know if you're going live, man. Anybody have any questions on folding at home? Not that I know that much about it, but if you do, let me know. Oh wow, Darizla. Well, they're lucky to have you there then. Take care of them. Yeah, this has been bad, and where we're at, it's not that bad yet, but I feel like it's going to get that way. So yeah, Dan, I'm going to go ahead and get out of here. I gotta get my videos to be a little bit shorter because it's hurting the channel's metrics and all that stuff with long videos that people like die off at the end, you know. I mean, you guys are holding steady at 7 or 8 viewers, which is great, but yeah, it's funny, right, Serpent? I mean, this is still around. I remember hearing about this like 20 years ago. Not 20, but 18, 17 years ago, something like that. I want to say that it might have been before that. I think it kind of got big for SARS, I believe, right? Back in 2002, I think, the original SARS. So yeah, it's just weird to see this like making a comeback, you know. Not that it ever really went anywhere. I think that there's people that still talk about it and they still were contributing to the project and stuff, but yeah, I mean, it's us that have to keep things going, I guess. All right, so let's head over to Brandon Coin if he's going live. I don't know if he is or not. I couldn't tell from his channel, but probably so. So I'll see you guys. I'll see you guys tomorrow night. I have no idea what we'll cover, but it'll be something. I'm sure it'll be fun, like always. I'll see you guys next time. See you tomorrow. Stay savage, everybody.